Taylor Hayes left Los Angeles with silence hanging behind her like a storm cloud. No goodbyes, no closure, no vindication, just absence. Italy should have been her fresh start, her moment, the culmination of everything she fought to protect. Ridge had promised her more than just a vacation. He had promised a life. But in true Forrester fashion, promises meant nothing the moment Brooke Logan re-entered the frame. And so, with her pride in pieces and her heart ripped open for all to see, Taylor disappeared. Not a trace. Not a message. Her children heard whispers of her departure only after the fact. Thomas was enraged. Steffi was stunned. Ridge stood numb. But no one had time to process what her absence meant, because the vacuum she left behind was immediately filled by someone far more dangerous. Quinn Fuller. Her return was not announced. No fanfare, no dramatic entrance. She simply appeared. One morning, after nearly a year in the shadows, she walked back into the Forrester mansion like she had never left. She moved through the grand halls slowly, deliberately, as if reclaiming something stolen. Her fingers grazed the familiar banister. Her heels echoed on the marble. And when Eric turned the corner and saw her, heart caught in his throat, she didn't smile. She didn't beg. She simply said, "We have unfinished business." Eric was stunned. The last time they spoke, their love was wreckage. Trust gone. Loyalty broken. She had walked away, or so he thought. But Quinn had never truly left. She had been watching, waiting, studying every crack in the foundation of Forrester Creations and the family itself. Taylor's exit was more than just a personal loss to the family. It was a collapse in the power structure, a shift Quinn had been waiting for. With Taylor out of the picture and Brooke distracted by the Ridgenick debacle in Italy, the battlefield was wide open. Eric tried to resist her. He reminded her of everything she had broken. The lies, the manipulation, the betrayal. But Quinn didn't flinch. She wasn't here to apologize. She was here to reclaim what was hers. And she had a plan. She started subtly, leveraging her old ties, rekindling alliances with key Forrester staff members. Some out of loyalty, some out of fear, and some simply dazzled by her confidence. She offered to consult, purely in an unofficial capacity, of course, on the upcoming couture launch, citing her past success with jewelry integration and marketing campaigns. Eric hesitated, but when the team admitted Quinn's insights were sharp and effective, he gave in. A small role, a minor favor. Nothing permanent. But it was all she needed. From there, Quinn escalated. She requested access to archival designs. Then production budgets. Then sales figures. All under the guise of streamlining the process or reducing creative waste. Eric, overwhelmed by the post-Taylor fallout and Brooke's ongoing tug-of-war with Ridge, didn't see how deep Quinn was embedding herself until it was too late. By the end of the week, Quinn had her own office again. Her name was on internal emails. She had begun attending board meetings, first as a guest, then as a strategic partner. By the time Ridge returned from Italy, she was sitting in his chair. The confrontation was immediate and violent, in words, if not fists. Ridge found Quinn in the executive conference room, reviewing a marketing brief with 3 junior VPs who clearly believed she was already reinstated. Ridge didn't bother with niceties. "You don't belong here." Quinn didn't look up. "You weren't here." Someone had to make decisions. Ridge pressed. Demanded answers. Accused her of overreach. But she turned the tables with precision. "You were in Italy throwing your future around like it meant nothing. First Brooke, then Taylor. You don't get to disappear and come back acting like you still have control." Eric tried to play peacemaker, but Ridge saw through the politics. He knew what was happening. Quinn was exploiting the chaos. Taylor's exit had fractured emotional alliances. Brooke was too busy trying to recover her own pride. And Eric, aging and increasingly fatigued, was vulnerable. Ridge demanded her removal. Eric refused. And so, a new war began, not over love, not over fashion, but over legacy. Control. Ownership of the Forrester name. Meanwhile, Quinn took her campaign further. She began courting the board's fringe members, those historically ignored, the ones Eric and Ridge barely considered. She promised returns. She offered restructuring models. She pitched a new vision. A Forrester Creations no longer defined by scandal and romantic entanglements, but by dominance in luxury branding and vertical integration. Numbers talked. Investors listened. And Ridge, though infuriated, couldn't ignore the shift. What Quinn understood better than anyone was that scandal always weakened the power core. Taylor's exit wasn't just personal, it was political. Her absence disarmed Steffi and Thomas emotionally. They were both off balance. Brooke, back in LA. After Ridge's final declaration in Italy, was emotionally scorched. She no longer had the strength or interest to challenge Quinn directly. And so Quinn moved, without resistance, into every gap left behind. But Quinn wasn't just after control of the company. She was after Eric. She began staying late, arriving early, leaving small notes, fixing old photos in the mansion's library, making him tea with that same blend they used to share. Eric resisted at first, but old emotions don't die easy. And the worst part? Donna knew. She saw the pattern. She watched it unfold and felt powerless to stop it. Eric began to change. He questioned Donna more. He defended Quinn publicly. She's helping us. She's saving us. Donna pleaded with him not to fall into old traps. She hasn't changed, Eric. She's just smarter now. But Eric didn't want to hear it. Not after Taylor left. Not after Ridge stumbled through yet another failed engagement. The family needed leadership. Quinn was offering it. And in the darkness of his own doubt, Eric mistook control for salvation. Then came the bombshell. Quinn revealed that Taylor, before leaving, had tried to block an internal vote that would have restructured the company's creative direction. A vote that would have handed Ridge full executive control, removing Eric entirely. She produced the email chain, the documents, the signatures. Everyone was stunned. Ridge was furious. Thomas didn't know what to think. Steffi went silent. Was it true? Had Taylor tried to push Eric out? The answer didn't matter. The chaos did. The Forrester family split again. Ridge demanded verification. Quinn leaned in. Taylor may have been a good person, but she wasn't innocent. That single line sent a ripple through the mansion. Quinn had struck a psychological blow, and deep down, everyone feared she might be right. Whether it was truth or manipulation, the result was the same: fracture. Now Quinn is back in power. She's claimed a seat at the board. She's got Eric leaning in, Ridge on edge, Brooke defeated, Donna sidelined, Steffi and Thomas spinning without maternal grounding. She doesn't have to claw her way in this time. She's already at the center of everything. And no one knows where Taylor really went. No one knows if she'll return. But if she does, she'll find a kingdom changed. She'll find Quinn sitting on a throne built from the fallout of her disappearance. And she'll realize too late that her silence didn't protect her family. It handed them over. This is no longer about reconciliation. It's about takeover. And Quinn is just getting started. The heat of the Italian sun couldn't rival the tension brewing between old lovers and longtime rivals as The Bold and the Beautiful returned on Monday, August 4th, with a searing episode that reached into the past to ignite the present. Episode number 9590 delivered a storm of warnings, obsessions, and confrontations that reminded viewers why no soap plays with fire quite like this one. In Italy, history repeated itself, and this time, the clock was ticking. Eric Forrester stood tall, commanding, as he delivered a dire warning to his son. Ridge, blinded by mixed loyalties and paralyzed by emotional indecision, stood at the crossroads of love and legacy. Eric's message was simple, sharp, and urgent. If you want Brooke, You need to stop hesitating. You need to stop pretending you can have it both ways. Taylor is not the one you see when you close your eyes. Brooke is. And before Ridge could respond, Eric made it clearer. You're about to lose her. And if you don't act now, Nick is going to make sure she's gone forever. That name alone, Nick, was enough to unearth a graveyard of buried tension. Nick Marone, ever the wild card, had returned to the scene not just to visit, not just to stir the pot, but to propose. He came to Italy with a ring. He came with intent. And when Eric spotted the small velvet box in Nick's hand, he knew everything was at risk. He didn't hesitate. He intercepted him before Brooke could be reached. Eric made it crystal clear. This is not your moment. This is not your woman. This is not your future. But Nick didn't flinch. He smirked. He didn't come all the way to Italy to be turned away by a warning. He believed he was the better man. He believed Brooke belonged with him, not Ridge. And that arrogance might be exactly what breaks everything apart. Back in Los Angeles, the drama moved at a different pace. But with no less intensity. John Finnegan was no longer just the quiet healer or loyal husband. He had entered a new phase, detective, protector, hunter of truth. And the truth he was chasing was tangled in lies and doubt. Finn had long suspected that something was off with Liam's recent behavior. What started as casual questions became a full-blown investigation. Why had Liam been so erratic since his return from overseas? Why was he watching Steffi so closely? Why was he so interested in matters that didn't concern him anymore? Finn dug deeper, and what he found made his blood run cold. Inconsistencies in Liam's stories, gaps in timelines, surveillance footage that didn't match up. And then, something bigger. Something darker. Financial anomalies. Covert communications. And one name kept popping up alongside Liam's in confidential reports. Grace Buckingham. Grace had always played two faces. The elegant professional. The overprotective mother. But now, Finn began to see her in a new light. As an enabler, maybe more. What had begun as a quiet suspicion became a confrontation. Finn cornered Grace in her office. The tension was suffocating. Her smile faltered when she saw him. He wasted no time. What's your connection to Liam's sudden interest in Forrester operations? Why are there bank statements with both your names listed? Why is Liam's apartment being paid for by an anonymous shell company with links to your former clinic? Grace stammered, evaded, deflected. But Finn wasn't backing down. Not anymore. I think you're helping him sabotage Steffi and manipulate Hope. I think you're part of something bigger, and I think you're about to be exposed. Grace warned him to drop it. But the fire was lit. Finn wasn't letting go. Meanwhile, the emotional centerpiece of the episode played out under Italian skies. Brooke, standing at the edge of a cliffside villa, gazed out over the sea. Her mind was at war. The memories of Ridge were impossible to shake. The nights, the years, the promises broken and remade. And now here she was again, with Ridge in the same country, in the same air, standing once more at the doorway of what could be, or what could fail, again. But then came Nick. He didn't knock. He just appeared. As bold as ever. He told her everything, his dreams, his regrets, his plan to propose. He said it as if it was already inevitable. You and Ridge never worked. You always come back to him, and he always lets you down. This time, we could do it right. This time, we could build something real. And for a moment, Brooke didn't say no. But the door slammed open. Ridge entered. Out of breath. Red-eyed. And when he saw Nick standing there, ring in hand, his voice thundered. Get away from her. Now. Brooke froze. Two men. One past. One future. One choice. Eric's warning had reached Ridge, and he wasn't wasting another second. He looked Brooke in the eyes and told her everything. I was wrong. I thought I could be the man Taylor needed. I thought I owed her something. But the only thing I've ever been sure of my whole life is you. It's always been you. Nick countered. He'll say that today. He'll say it again in 5 years. And he'll still break your heart. Choose something different, Brooke. Choose stability. Choose me. And Brooke, tears in her eyes, stepped back, one hand over her heart. The moment hung like glass in the air, and the screen cut black. Back in Los Angeles, Finn returned home, stunned from his encounter with Grace. He found Steffi pacing. She could feel the shift in his energy. She asked what was wrong. Finn paused, looked into her eyes, and said, "I think Liam is trying to destroy us. And I don't think he's alone." The walls were closing in. Tuesday promised fallout and war. But Monday gave viewers everything. A father's warning. A son's race against time. A lover's bold ultimatum. A confrontation that could collapse marriages and rebuild old flames. And a mystery back home that could burn the Forrester family to the ground. The episode was a reminder that in the bold and the beautiful, nothing stays buried. Love doesn't fade. Lies don't disappear. And time never waits. Watch it all unfold exclusively on CBS and Paramount.